Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's show is chapters 4 to 6 in my brand new series that I hope you guys have got your teeth into. As ever, please do let me know down below in the comments what you thought. Please do like and share and help build this channel and community further and help us smash our way through to 20,000. Without further ado, let's get into tonight's story, entitled Escobar's Lost Journals, The Diablo Dogs. Chapter 4. Wrong Jungle, Wrong Time. Let's get straight into that. Traversing the area on this side of the river took much more precaution, as roots stuck out of the ground, snagging my boots here and there. The area descended down into a vast and deep creek. We needed to find a safe place to camp for the night as the day wore on. We covered miles and miles of rocky terrain, stopping only to catch our breath said few times. On the way to finding camp, I had an interesting yet skin-crawling encounter with a mammoth bird-eating spider. How had I been the only one apparently not to see it perched some 4, maybe 5 feet off the jungle floor, resting on a mossy tree trunk? I literally lost my soul and spirit as I placed my hand unknowingly onto the tree, a mere couple of inches away from the spider. As I did, it reared up its front legs and displayed its fangs. With a hiss, I fell backwards into brush behind me. Whoa! Henri and Brian fell about laughing as the spider continued its ferocious display. Not funny, man, I commented angrily. Yeah, right, replied Brian. He came over and helped me up, with myself taking a wider route around the pissed-off spider. It was now approaching 4, maybe 5 p.m, and the light was fading so fast with a thick canopy above us. The jungle took on a whole different vibe at night, and we still needed to make camp, preferably somewhere dry and safe. But everything, I mean everything, is wet in the jungle. Before long, we started to notice the area took on a more rocky and sandy terrain. We noticed little cave holes here and there, but nothing sizable. With the sun almost set and the endless darkness creeping in all around, the jungle went silent. There was no breeze carrying through the trees, just a dead silence gripping the life from the jungle's inhabitants. It's like all the animals and bugs knew what was coming next. A short while later, we found a sizable cave of sorts, just big enough for an adult to squeeze into, but then opened up greatly deeper inside. There, Henri pointed to the cave. Thank God, we don't have to camp outside, I said, and Brian agreed with a nod and a smile. Yeah, I'll second that notion, he added. Once inside, we all gathered our supplies and set up a small but good camp, some 30 or so meters inside. Henri sat looking at a necklace that was JJ's. Hey, I'm sorry about your friend. Really, I am, I offered. He looked up through his brow to my direction and then nodded with a smile. Thank you, Signor. He was a great man. We ate some food and drank till our eyes glazed over and we fell asleep. A good night by any measure. It's safe to say, however, that the next day gave birth to the worst hangover in memory. Stumbling out of our hotel for the night, feeling light-headed and green at the gills, the sun hurt in our eyes as we adjusted to the light and our newfound headaches. Anyway, before we fell asleep the night before, we took order of where we were and how far the abandoned hut the old guy had found the satchel was. If we find that, then surely we'll be in the right region. According to the maps that we had, Escobar had an enormous operation in the westerly direction from our approximate position. Also, on the map were multiple symbols, many of which could take months to decrypt. But we just wanted the money or the gold, not the coke, etc. Soon, Henri noticed a local symbol for longevity, and we decided we would investigate any of these locations. 3 were within a few miles of our current position. So dry-mouthed, heads pounding, we trekked on with our eyes to the trees. JJ had mentioned some of the local lore and beliefs of the Diablo dogs, and it said that they prefer to stalk their prey for a long time, watching, learning, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They do this by waiting, following their victims from the canopy of the trees. Most do not even see what hit them. The Diablo dog moves like a shadow assassin, always silent, but efficient and deadly. My nerves were through the treetops, and I found my hands trembling as I gripped the shotgun like a vice. Around an hour, maybe two, later, we came upon some abandoned camp, and there were buildings obviously used in the distant past for cooking the product. Still, it smelt of that bleach and chemical scent, making all of our eyes water from the sulfuric acid. It was a complete ghost town. Weapons, money, but only small amounts, nothing notable. Photos of men that worked there. It started to feel more eerie as we went deeper into the camp. As we made a turn, we found what looked to be a recent attack. Blood was splattered everywhere, on boxes and walls all over the steps to another cabin. Something had come through here like a bat out of hell. But still, there were no body parts, nor was there any dead for that matter. Just, there's whoever's blood, plastering the local area. I don't like this. Let's get to another part on the map. Here. I pointed towards another of the longevity symbols, a couple of miles northwest of our current position. Yeah, I agree, said Brian. And with that, we grabbed our stuff and carried on until we left the encampment. Chapter 5. Not all doors should be opened. Let's get straight into that. An hour or so later, around 1 in the afternoon, we found our target. As we approached another clearing, there was 2 small buildings, much like a hut, I suppose. Nothing special. They were wooden mainly, except for a corrugated metal roof, and reminded me of a rustic outside restroom. Anyway, on closer inspection, they looked to be empty. Simply a couple of storage sheds. But just before leaving disheartened, and on my last thread of my patience for the entire trip, Henri called to us to look. "Signors, look! This here! Help me!" Well, with us both looking puzzled, he motioned for us to move out of the way, as he took another dynamite stick and shoved it into a small hole in the wall connecting to the concrete floor. Still, I was lost as to what he was doing. "Go! Get ready!" he added, as he got his lighter out. Myself and Brian shrugged our shoulders and still confused to what Henri's plans were going to do. Still, we took cover some distance away from the huts and waited. A few seconds later, Henri came running out of the huts and jumped in our direction as the dynamite exploded, destroying the 2 huts and floors. Henri was nothing short of a genius, and as the smoke and debris cleared, we walked back over and looked at what was before us. I was shocked. I was completely and utterly shocked to see, through the smoke and dust, a set of stairs leading down to God knows where. But my guess was Escobar's money. And so, without a second thought, we all readied our weapons, and I took the lead as we made our way down and inside the underground location. My heart thumping was inside my eardrums. Brian smiled from ear to ear as we made our way further down, and then onto a long corridor that was supported by huge, thick wooden struts and beams. Whomever made this, made it to last. Eventually, the corridor broke off into 4 rooms. 3 were filled with boxes of unknown contents. 1 room was full of blue 50-gallon barrels, so we tried the second room first, as it was easier to open the barrels. What lay inside is a moment I will never forget. Packs and packs of money, all American dollars, all in perfect condition. Even Henri was happy, even dumbfounded by just how much cash was there. "We have to check the other rooms," I said excitedly. "Yeah, let's do it," replied Brian, as we all scrambled like it was Christmas morning into the second room with the mystery wooden crates. Using the butt end of his rifle, Henri smashed his way into one of the crates. As suspected, a huge cloud of cocaine burst from the contents that were sealed in plastic wrapping inside of the crate. Sure enough, we were all buzzing around like flies in a turd. Sure enough, we were all buzzing around like flies to a turd in no time. "We've got to check the other rooms," said Brian, his jaw swaying from left to right. "Agreed, let's go," I responded joyfully. In that moment, we'd forgotten the fact that we were in the middle of a rebel-torn jungle with man-eating jaguars. Oh, and the monstrous Diablo dogs lurking around every dark corner or in every treetop. But soon we would have even more things to worry about as we went through the third room. We found more money, guns and ammunition. As we started to go through the contents of the fourth room, which contained pallets of stacked gold bullion, the room itself glowing from a yellow ore, we heard something. At first, we couldn't make it out. But soon enough, we heard it loud and clear as men's voices angrily shouting orders to surround the stairs, surround the stairs. Unknown to us, we were no less than a couple of miles from a rebel forces camp. Within seconds, we heard the heavy footsteps thumping down the stairs. What do we do? I asked Henri, who by now was loading an automatic MP5 for each hand. Now, there is no choice. Now, we fight or die. Seconds later, a loud series of explosions, and then tear gas was thrown down to our position. We set about retaliating, but with the smoke grenades and gas, it was a one-way battle as they just kept filling the underground facility with gas and smoke. And by the time we regained our senses, we were overwhelmed by these guerrilla warfare type guys. Men whose eyes told endless stories of death and dismemberment. Down! Down! Now! Get down! One of the men screamed at us as we dropped our weapons and surrendered to our knees. We were so close, said Brian as he was kicked in the back of his head. Soon, myself and Henri were given the same treatment with a rifle butt, and all faded to black. Like I said, worst hangover ever. Chapter 6. A bad situation made worse. Let's get straight into that. I awoke an unknown amount of time later, seemingly drugged and stripped of my guns, pack of smokes. Wiping the sleep from my eyes, I tried to find bearing on my whereabouts. What was this place? Where was I? Where was Brian and Henri? Just who the hell were those guys? My back and head ached and dried blood was still stuck to my forehead as I sat up off the cold stone floor. Looking around, I could see Brian very much still asleep. Henri, however, was sat in the opposite corner, his face swollen from the beatdown before. He looked worried, truly lost in a moment of thought, but one of the darkest variety, his eyes fluttering ever so slightly as if what he was picturing was terrifying. Henri! Henri! I called to him. But it was no use, he was lost in terror and obviously drugged, like myself. I grabbed his shoulder to get his attention, and he freaked out, kicking out at me and punching the air in pure terror. Whoa, whoa, Henri, wait! It's me! It's David! I tried to reassure him, but it took a while. But soon Brian was awake too, and we all sat trying to figure out a way to get out of this cell or whatever it was. Unfortunately, when Henri came to his senses, the situations were far worse than we could have ever predicted. If Henri was correct, we were about to run Escobar's gauntlet. It was a series of underground tunnels and shafts in which we have to survive the freeing of multiple Diablo dogs. All this, he said, was for the pleasure of millionaires, betting on who will survive, and laughing at the slaughter of innocent lives. It had only been a rumour in the city of Medellin, but if he was correct, we were about to face hell itself, head on. Wow. Hope you guys enjoyed that shorter edition today. As ever, please do let me know down below in the comments what you thought. Please do like and share, and of course, don't forget to hashtag TeamFEAR. If you yourself have a story you'd like me to narrate, whether it's a fictional piece or a true encounter with something that didn't quite make sense or possibly terrified you, please do get in contact with myself at the D-mail, I like that, at the email address below. It's dmtforesterfear@gmail.com. Hope you're all well and happy, and as ever, remember, be safe, not sorry.